Pain heals. Chicks dig scars. Glory lasts forever.
Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all your support. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we're going to we're gonna have a little fun. We're also going to make a larger point. We're diving into yet another sports media facepalm, courtesy of Bleacher Report. This one is kind of wild. This isn't just, like Elle Duncan or Cheryl Swoops or Monica McNutt or whatever hating on Caitlin Clark. This is well, you'll see here in a second. But look, Bleacher Report, for those who don't know, actually I think they're just shy of 20 million followers on X. I think their YouTube channel, it has over 4.5 million subscribers on YouTube. This is not a small niche blog site, okay? This is not me. This is not an individual with their own YouTube channel working hard, and they cannot get the most basic of facts correct. It is wild. And it's not even like a hating on Caitlin Clark, again, like the Cheryl Swoops nonsense. We're talking about this. I'm going to show you a couple of short clips that is about hyping up the WNBA rookies coming into the league and about what they might do this coming season. And it is just laughably inept, incompetent, and completely wrong when talking about Paige Bueckers, Georgia Moore. I always want to say, anyway, and a little bit how this ties into the ongoing Caitlin Clark nonsense as well. There's no doubt about that. As you hear, there's a little. Anyway, grab your popcorn, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. By the way, quick, and I know I did a YouTube one of the community posts, but thank you to everyone for the Michaela Timpson video. It was nice to do a pure basketball video again. I try to do them when I can. They take a little more time, but it's fun to do and get a break from the drama here and there. And it was well received. I think I got more new subscribers on that video than I had in a while. So thank you. But let's dig in now. Well, this isn't really drama. We're just going to have a little fun. So, like I said, Bleacher Report, 20 million followers on X, 4.5 million plus YouTube subscribers. It's a big company. And they decided to drop this podcast on the, hyping up the rookies. So I'm going to play this for you, this short clip, and then we're going to talk about it. And then we got another short clip that we'll talk about and why I want to tie that into a larger picture.
The other season, she's been flirting with 4 assists. And this past season, she also led the nation in assists with 4.6 assists. So the other season.
Catch that? Did you catch that? Talking about Paige Bueckers. First of all, it's wild. We're talking about this supposed incredible player who was player of the year of freshman year, despite getting outplayed by not only Caitlin Clark, but others, and how she was flirting with 4 assists in a season. By the way, she did have over 5 her freshman year. Now, the also in there makes it sound like she did it before, which she hadn't. But the big thing there, of course, is the very, very incorrect Paige Bueckers, you heard that, led the nation averaging 4.6 assists per game last season. Led the nation averaging 4.6 assists per game last season. By the way, Tania Latson, who led the nation in scoring, also averaged 4.6 assists per game. I mean, I really almost spit out my coffee when I first saw this because I thought it had to be a troll. And then I realized, no, this is Bleacher Report. Like I looked at that video again, I'm like, this is Bleacher Report doing this. By the way, just so we're clear, Paige Bueckers was 64th, 66th in assists. She was not top 55. Now, starting at 60, there are like 6 or 7 players at 4.6. I don't know if they broke it up further to arrange it or if they just grouped them all as, 6 players sharing the 60th spot. But so she was at best tied for 60th in the nation in assists. And this lady doing a Bleacher Report podcast says with a straight face that Paige Bueckers led the nation. I mean, how do you not check that? Seriously. What how does it how is there not someone at a company as big as Bleacher Report that this doesn't go through a process of people checking? And even if it doesn't, you're employed with Bleacher Report and you are doing a podcast. You are putting this out there to the public and you do not check the simplest of stats. How do you do something, a segment, when you're talking about Paige Bueckers' assists, and you clearly didn't even check to see where she fell in the nation in terms of assists? You just decided to say that she led the nation. And yet she was at best 60th. She was 60 to 66, depending on how they broke up. So she was in the 60s. Please tell me how that gets out there on a company like Bleacher Report. That is absolutely wild. And here's the thing. If you truly follow women's basketball, even to a tiny degree, you just know without looking. You may not know where she was, but you know that Paige Bueckers did not lead the nation in assists. But wait, it gets better. Yes, it does. So we're going to play another short clip for you.
In her final year at Virginia Tech, she averaged 6.8 assists per game and then led the nation. Then last year, 6.9 assists per game. Almost 7 assists per game is insane. So
I want you to think about this for a second. Oh, pause. Sorry about that. The year she's talking about for Virginia Tech, for Georgia, was Caitlin Clark's senior year. And the host says that Georgia, in her final season at Virginia Tech, which again, Caitlin Clark's final year, her senior year, 23-24, says Georgia led the nation with 6.8 assists per game. What is happening? Bizarro world? Is this the multiverse? Please explain it to me. Caitlin Clark led the nation in assists in 23-24. You may have heard of her. She not only led the nation in assists, dropping 8.9 assists per game, 8.9, more than 2 full assists per game ahead of Georgia, who did finish 4th, by the way. Caitlin Clark also led the nation in scoring that year. Come on, Bleacher Report. How are you not embarrassed to put this out there? These stats are everywhere. And I go back to what I said about Paige Bueckers as well. If you are an actual basketball fan, if you are just paying attention a little bit, you would hear this, Georgia Moore, you would see that number and you would know it's wrong because you would know that Caitlin Clark led the nation in assists.
We're all special.
Here's the other thing I'll just add to that before we get into the bigger picture. She's making it did you hear that's almost 7 assists per game? That's insane. Yeah, it's so insane that Caitlin's worst season in college was her freshman year when she averaged 7.1. That was the only time she averaged under 8 assists per game, by the way. Next season it was 8 even, then it was 8.6, then it was 8.9. Those last 3, she led the nation in assists all 3 seasons. Her freshman year, she led her conference. And we're talking about how Georgia's numbers were insane, even though her best seasons didn't meet Clark's worst season. And she finished, again, more than 2 full assists per game behind Caitlin Clark when this lady is saying that Georgia led the nation. This is absolutely wild. And this isn't the hate, like, this isn't the Elle Duncan, Cheryl Swoops, Andrea Carter, Monica McNutt hatred. I mean, this is more than a few wrong stats. Big deal. Because again, this is as simple and easy as it gets and something you absolutely check when you're talking about something like this. But as you notice, which is why I said it, notice how these errors conveniently sideline Caitlin Clark, the actual assist leader that year with Georgia. They erased her. They erased what she did, led the nation in 8.9 assists per game, and they just completely erased that. That year was absolutely historic, led the nation in assists, led the nation in scoring, broke the scoring record, carried Iowa to the national championship game, beating defending champs LSU on the way. The second season in a row. They beat the defending champs on the way to the finals. Yet somehow sports media keeps finding ways to downplay Caitlin Clark, get her stats wrong, or simply erase her. Starting to feel a little bit like a pattern, people. Not unlike Fringe. Anyway, whether it's Elle Duncan calling Clark an anomaly to dismiss her ratings impact, Cheryl Swoops with all her lies about Caitlin Clark's college career, now Bleacher Report pretending she didn't even exist her senior season when she led the nation in assists. Now that's Georgia's record, apparently. It's just a weird vibe in women's basketball coverage. And it's like some media folks are absolutely allergic to giving Clark any credit, anything, minimizing her completely. Oh no, Caitlin's greatness. Quick, make up some stats for someone else. Just go turn the camera on and blatantly lie. Why does this keep happening? Like I said, Bleacher Report, not some rinky dinky blog. Not me by myself who does everything. They are a major player in sports media, yet they're either so incredibly sloppy and or incompetent that they should be out of business. I don't understand how this lady has a job with Bleacher Report. Can get a job with Bleacher Report. Or again, it goes back to their flat out pushing an agenda, flat out lying and they know it, and hoping that everyone watches just absorbs it and believes it. Because again, when you see something like this, why would you think that they would get something so simple wrong? You wouldn't, right? So you just think, okay, Paige led the nation in assists this year. Last year it was Georgia. They're going to be fun in the WNBA. But again, these are not obscure stats we're talking about. Anyone following knows Caitlin Clark, 8.9 assists, led the nation her senior year. It's everywhere. It's on every major sports site you can go to in terms of college stats. Paige Bueckers, 4.6, same deal. By the way, just 4.6, just inherently, if you're following basketball, you know that that is not a lead the nation number. It's all, again, it would take 2 seconds to follow stuff. So this kind of laziness, it's laziness, or entitlement, or worse, again, bias to a narrative, but it erodes trust. I am not going to believe anything Bleacher Report says on anything else. So when you get basic facts wrong, especially now about women's basketball, where it really seems to be happening a lot, which is finally getting the spotlight, you're not just annoying fans. You're not just giving people like the content. You are disrespecting the game. And I keep hearing how Clark's fans are disrespecting the game by not constantly talking about the women who played back when we had cavemen. So what exactly is this shoddy report doing? I don't get it. This is hurting the game. Bleacher Report is screaming from the rooftop that women's basketball is irrelevant. It does not matter. That is what they're saying, because they're telling you when they do stuff like this that they don't care. They do not care to take 2 seconds to make sure that they have one simple stat correct. This show is disrespectful to women's basketball. This Bleacher Report is being disrespectful to women's basketball. Right? Let's be real. Women's hoops fans, actual women's hoops fans, which is basically the Caitlin Clark fandom, they are not here for this stuff. They're not putting up with it. They're fact checking all of this crap. And this isn't just about this one podcast, as we know. It is a trend from ESPN to Bleacher Report. Sports media keeps fumbling the bag over and over again, especially when covering Clark. But this does no favors to Paige Bueckers or Georgia Amore either. It doesn't do any favors to the women's game. And when you alienate fans, actual fans who care about the truth, don't be shocked when they ditch you for creators who actually do their homework, creators who actually care, creators who are actually passionate about the topic on which they are speaking. The WNBA has an opportunity right now, as we've said before, that they have never had before and will never have again, thanks to Caitlin Clark, who drove, you know the numbers, 300% attendance spike for the Indiana Fever, all the viewership records, you get it. Now we got Paige Bueckers coming in as the number 1 pick that is expectedly to bring her expected of her to bring her own magic to Dallas and the league. Georgia, again, at 6.9 assists per game in Kentucky this year. She is a potential rising star. And these players as well deserve coverage that matches their talent, not made up stats that undermine their achievements. Because again, what happens is you get people who get turned off by the player, even though it's not necessarily the player's fault. Fans get sick of hearing this type of stuff and having these players, when we know it's kind of based on a narrative of what they want, are being elevated beyond what they're actually doing. And people say, yeah, you know what? I know it's not them, but I'm so turned off by the way they're covered that I don't want to support them. I don't want to follow them. I don't want to watch them. And it's just a natural human reaction. So I don't understand how this gets out there. Is there no quality control at all at Bleacher Report? Why would anyone trust them for anything when it comes to sports? And if sports media keeps lying or they keep being this lazy, fans will keep tuning out. The WNBA's growth depends a little bit on trust between fans and sports media, trust between the league and the fans, trust that the media will tell the story of the historic era accurately. So, to Bleacher Report and to the rest, step it up. Check your facts. Again, I get people will, in good faith, get things wrong at times, which is why when I go down a road that I want to pull something out of my memory and I'm not 100% sure, I always ask you, hey, if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below what it is, because I don't want to purposely give you something that is incorrect. There is no reason why you would not have this. If you are getting those numbers, it's easy to check and see and make sure that you're saying, okay, yeah, they both led the nation that year. The fans are watching and they are not here for this fiction. Oh man, anyway, Bleacher Report's out here playing fast and loose. This is not a good idea. They're going to turn off the fans. Caitlin Clark, Paige Bueckers, Georgia Moore, they deserve better. So do we. Anyway, what is, from you all, what is the wildest sports media blunder you've seen lately? And it doesn't have to be the WNBA, because some of you are probably going to bring up Shedeur Sanders if you're following that. Maybe Mel Kiper's meltdown. I don't know. Let me know in the comments below. As always, appreciate you checking out this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really do appreciate it. And I will talk to you later.